Wasted. She should have been the main villain, but instead it was white man bad. It was another Elon Musk allegory or Jeff Bezos allegory or big billionaire allegory. Wasted.
I mean,
they wasted her. They wasted her. Remember, you haven't seen the movie? It's too on the fucking
people.
Stop. I don't want allegory in Tron. That's not the point. Why the fuck do we not spend time in the grid? I'm not talking politics right now. I'm saying everything has a mean white guy. I'm sick and tired of it being a mean white guy. All the time. Mean white billionaire. That's everything. You know where that fits? James Bond. Stop putting it in everything else. Please. Have some fucking creativity. Why do you think everybody watches anime? Because there's no goddamn creativity in the West. I had this whole conversation with some of my coworkers yesterday. A lot of my coworkers were like, man, there's like nothing to watch. And I'm like, you guys watching anime? And they're like, well, yeah, we're watching anime. And I'm like, exactly, dude. Everybody in my work pretty much watches anime. At least one of them. Like, because there's nothing to fucking watch except for old shit like The Office. Or if you're a fan of it, Friends. Or How I Met Your Mother. Or like shit like that. Old syndication shit.
Correct me if I'm wrong here.
We have a couple shows like Tulsa King, you know, or House of the Dragon. Night of the Seven Kingdoms is coming out, which looks good. But like, what is there? Literally, what is there for us in the West other than shit like, I mean, even The Gentleman, but The Gentleman's not from the West. I mean, you could argue it is, but it's UK, but like, there's creativity in the West. Most corpos hate it, i.e. Tartakovsky and the Black Knight. No, you're correct. You're correct. You are correct. I agree with you.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, because I generally don't get everything right. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You watch more movies than me, Roland, so you can probably tell me this. Has the archetype for movies for like the longest time not been like bad white guy since like, you know, the 90s? Bad rich white guy since like the 90s or like the early 2000s?
Nope.
It hasn't been?
No, it is not. Depends on the storyline.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of some major movies here, like some major series.
Okay,
I would say Star Wars, old bad white dude. Let's see. I'm trying to think of before 2016.
Yep.
Batman Begins, old white, or not old, but a white guy. Dark Knight Rises, Bane, white guy. Joker, if you want to be technical, a white guy. Let's see.
Batman. Those characters are all white guys already in the comics. You can't just keep saying those.
The Godfather, a white guy.
Those are Italians. They were Italians.
I'm just saying.
That's about. You can't do a story where there is white people involved. Like, I can't use Commodore Beckett as a argument for this because it's the East India Trading Company. Of course, he's going to be a white guy back then.
Well, I was just trying to bounce off of what you said. That's all.
Okay, I was trying to.
Guardians of the Galaxy kind of did 7 for some because of Peter's dad, for example. Yeah.
He was. So that's actually not even true. He's not an evil white guy because he is making his form to look like somebody that would be his father. And Peter's white.
The villain in Black Panther was black. No fucking shit, Crimson. Of course.
Yeah, he didn't have to be though. I don't necessarily. Was Killmonger always black in the comics? I thought he switched back and forth between white and black.
It's kind of like how
Am I
Black
wrong?
Panther himself has switched from being a black to a white guy, depending on the adaptation. But
I
the
was
point
gonna
that I'm
say,
making
yeah.
is that like from 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 where I'm sitting, I don't think that like white guy bad's a new thing, because it's it has like been in some like it has been in
Well,
some prevalent
here's the,
movies
here's the
for
thing.
years now.
Here's the thing, Roman. Roman, because of World War II, there was a lot of white guy bad, like Star Wars. The Empire is the Nazis. Like look at Die Hard. Hans Gruber's a German. The Germans are bad. Apparently, I'm German. That's why people automatically when people found that out in middle school and high school, we're like fucking Nazi. I was like, oh, this I fucking was probably one of the first people that had to deal with being called a Nazi all the time, just because of the fact people knew I was German. My family fucking killed their own fatherland in order to fight the fucking Nazis. So it's like that's what started a lot of this. But have you? And here's the problem. You might not be incorrect. My point being is, when do we get the black villain? When do we get the female villain? The one that's not sympathetic. They're always sympathetic. They're always never really evil. It's always like, oh no, they were actually wronged throughout all their life, and you should feel bad for them, and that's why they're evil. It's not like the
Muffler.
Ramsay Bolton.
Iron Man 3 was the Mandarin. Iron Man 3 was the Mandarin. That's what happened. What?
Let me finish.
Sorry.
We don't get a female Ramsay Bolton who's just despicable. Or Cersei. We don't get a Cersei anymore. But even still, Cersei, they try to make you feel bad for her in the end. No, you don't feel bad for Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. You want that motherfucker dead. I want to see other versions of characters that are that evil. Show me that. Show me that you, as Hollywood, have the balls to go, yeah, I'll make a black person an evil guy. I'll make an Asian person an evil guy. Oh, no, they'll do that. They don't care about that because Asians are basically white people to them. But make a female as despicable and evil as Ramsay Bolton. I challenge them to do that because they won't do it.
Hella.
Fuck it, make a gay person.
Ragnarok.
Make a gay person that evil. Make a gay person that evil. Do it. They won't. They won't because
Cruella.
they will get.
Yeah, true.
No, they made her a sympathetic villain. Her mother got killed by Dalmatians, and that's why she hates Dalmatians. You're supposed to feel bad for her. She's the main character. No, don't give me that shit. Cruella is one of the biggest fucking... I was literally going to mention Cruella before you did. She is one of the... Have you watched that movie, Roman? Because I have, because my ex-girlfriend made me watch it.
Cruella? You couldn't make me watch that with a... You couldn't make me fucking watch that with like... a 40-foot pole.
Okay, so don't agree with Muffler Tape then and be like, yeah, Cruella, because you haven't watched it. I have. No, they made her a sympathetic villain during that movie.
Kingdom Come Deliverance has a gay
video games. Not talking about video games. Talking
but
about...
here's also... but
I'm just saying, give them... I'm just saying they don't have the balls. The easiest
respectful
layup they have is mean white guy or mean Asian guy or mean Asian
respectful
chick. That's what they have the layup for. They won't do mean black guy. They won't do mean black girl. They won't do evil fucking whatever. Didn't they just make a show with Zoe Saldana or whatever where there was a cartel leader who transitioned and like went nice in order to escape shit?
I don't know.
That was this year, guys. That show's on Netflix or some shit. Like,
also, Cheetah was in Wonder Woman 1984. That's
Yeah,
a
that
woman.
movie was
Actually, that
ass.
counts. No, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't count. That was from 2023.
Roman,
What?
you might be one of the only people that saw that movie.
But that doesn't matter. You said that there hasn't been one. Cheetah from Wonder Woman.
I'll tell you
Ella
a good. I'll tell you a good female villain. Tell you a great female villain. Dedra Miro from Andor.
That's facts.
That's a well-written female villain. Now find me
But
another.
I just wanted to say that you
It's
said that
not
there
from anime.
hasn't been.
There
You
hasn't. Cheetah is not a well-written female villain. She is bad girl. That's it. You could argue the same thing about Titania and She-Hulk. Oh, they had a female villain in there. Yeah, no, she wasn't evil, though. She was sympathetic. And I guarantee you almost anything that if you look back at Cheetah in Wonder Woman 1984, that she has a backstory that makes her sympathetic.
No, actually, she doesn't. She's just flat out evil. I watched that movie. She's flat out evil. So, there's one. Hela from Thor Ragnarok. That's two. That
Nope,
came
that's
out in the last
sympathetic villain.
10
She
years.
talks about the fact that Daddy didn't treat her right. Nope, she's
Hela's
going against her
not
father.
sympathetic. She's fucking wrong, bro. She's not sympathetic.
You might think that, Roman, but there's a lot of people that don't. They purposely wrote her so that she's not evil. She's not fully evil. She's just trying to get back what she deserves because she's the one that after she was promised that she would be the ruler of everything after Odin died, and Odin cast her down after the war. She was his right hand, and he cast her down. She has all the rights to come back up and fuck him up. Yes. We're rooting for Thor, but they wrote her as a sympathetic villain.
Scanner Darkly? What is that? Thank you. So that is
No,
that is two
no, she
within the
doesn't.
last 10 years. I'm trying to think of more.
No, she doesn't. Rewatch the fucking movie.
I watch
She might be
Ragnarok
a dumb
all
bitch.
of the time.
She might be a bitch when she comes back. She might be a bitch when she comes back. But that doesn't matter. She has they literally give you the backstory of Odin was a piece of shit to his daughter, and that's why she has the right to come back and hate him.
Is there not an
You mean
evil version of Wanda in Multiverse of Madness? Is there not an evil version of her in that? Is she not evil in that movie?
She's retarded in everything after Infinity War.
That wasn't the answer to my question.
No, she is most certainly a sympathetic villain because her entire point was an entire show where she literally enslaved an entire town of people and fucked with their minds and then murdered another version of herself in order to steal those kids, which then she lost again. So she created the multiverse of madness. And then, yeah, no, the whole point of her is that she is a sympathetic villain just trying to find her children. And that Doctor Strange should feel bad for her. Yes, Roman. Does she do evil things? Yes, but she's a sympathetic villain.
Well, I mean, I didn't feel bad for her. But
Because she's
also,
written like shit, but that wasn't their intention. Their intention was for you to feel bad for her.
but all I'm saying is you said that there weren't any flat out like evil written women, and
There's not.
Cheetah and Hela are two flat out evil written women villains. That's all that
Hela,
I'm
I
saying.
still disagree with you on because of what I explained. Cheetah, I can't speak on, but I can almost guarantee you that when you say flat out, I think what you really mean is just flat evil villain. There is no story to them. They are just, I'm mean and I'm going to fuck shit up. Yeah.
You said
one episode
all I'm
anime
saying
villain,
is
Naruto.
you said there were no evil women. Cheetah is an evil woman written in that movie.
Okay, you gave me two.
Yeah. And you said there were none. So
Out of everything, you gave me two. and
you
one
said there
of
were
which
none.
I guarantee you, if I watched Wonder Woman 1984, and I'm not going to, I could argue as to why that is not why they made her sympathetic. But my point is, there isn't. They're all considered sympathetic. None of them are the same way that a lot of these fucking villains have been. And it's not just women. I'm just saying they don't have the balls to write. My whole point is, give me a Ramsay Bolton. That's a black woman. You don't have the balls to do it. It has nothing to do with race or gender. My entire point is that they just won't do it because they're afraid of backlash. They won't cast somebody for something like that, but they will cast somebody to play a black snake. They're not afraid of that backlash. But they're afraid of the backlash. They're not. Hold on, Roman. Let me finish. They're not afraid of that backlash, but they are afraid of the backlash from turning a black person into a Ramsay Bolton type of horrific villain. Somebody that you want to reach through the screen and murder.
They are afraid to do
that. They won't do it.
I just think that they would just not want to hear, oh my God, they're forcing a black dude down our throats again, bro. What is with all this shit? Man, I miss the days where things weren't fucking woke, bro. Why can't we have a straight white villain, bro? That's what they'll fucking hear if they were to actually do that. You know? The fucking, grifters and shit like that.
No, that's not it. That's not what would happen because listen, no one cares about race or gender, Roman. That's what you're missing. Yeah, we're sick and tired of this shit. The tides are changing. Hollywood's changing. Hollywood is slowly but surely changing. They see that they're getting fucked over. The entire point is that people these days just see shit and instantly go, "Ah, fuck that! I'm turned off of it." Like I talked about this with Maddie, right, on stream with Harry Potter, and her and I were talking about it, and she was like, "Well, the black snake thing doesn't really bother me, all that much." I was like, "That's fine. It bothers me for this reason, and that reason is, if they're going to change that, that means they're going to change everything else." The first announcement for this show was that they made Snape black. If they're willing to change one of the most popular characters into a black guy, which completely changes the entire story, makes Harry's dad and Sirius, makes James Potter and Sirius black, and Lupin all fucking, and actually Wormtongue as well, which he already is, but makes them all racist. They literally lynch him as a kid. So she was like, "Oh, fuck, no, you're right." I was like, "All right, so if they're willing to change that, how do you feel about a female Voldemort?" She's like, "Well, that doesn't work. That's not possible." And I was like, "No, but it is, because they're casting for women." So that's her radicalization point when it comes to what she cares about. For me, it was Star Wars. I'm sick and fucking tired of the way they treated Star Wars. And my main thing was when you did what you did with Professor Tolkien's work. As soon as you bastardize the professor's work, that pissed me the fuck off. I can sit there, I can deal with Disney fucking up Star Wars, but when you bastardize Professor Tolkien's work, one of the most prominent writers of all time, that pisses me the fuck off. And that is your radicalization point. Everybody has one. Everybody has one. For some people, it's when an anime, like for some people, it was Boruto. For some people, it was Boruto. For some people, it was, the new James Gunn shit with Superman.
Nah.
It's...
I stand by that movie.
There's a lot of people that fucking hate that movie. There's a lot of people out there. That movie did not make money.
In my eyes,
They
those
say-
people are retards.
That's your eyes. That's your complete opinion. But the box office does not agree with your opinion. And to be honest with you, when it comes to that movie, listen, I enjoyed part of it, but I'm not a Superman fan. I don't care. I saw it because my parents wanted to see it. They got a kick out of it, whatever. But with Superman, it didn't make money. It quite nearly flopped. It didn't, but it almost did. And James Gunn promised that it wouldn't be on streaming for months. It was on streaming 4 weeks later.
I just think people
The
don't
movie wasn't making
want.
money.
I just think people don't want. I think people don't want to. I don't know how to say this. They don't. I mean, to me, that movie was a feel-good story, and I think there are just some people that just don't want to feel
Really?
that.
I think Lois Lane was kind of a bitch to him most of the time.
The first part of your sentence, you cut out. Would you mind repeating that again?
I said, really? I think Lois Lane was kind of a bitch to him most of the time. I like the actress, but I think they wrote her like a bitch to him. Dude, if you're in a relationship with Superman, you're gonna do an interview. Why are you being like so inflamed? She's purposely trying to piss him the fuck off. Why would you do that to your significant other?
Have you? And I'm asking this
That's manipulative.
I'm asking this genuinely, Roland. Have you read a Superman comic? Because that is just how Lois is. That just is how she is. I'm just saying, like
it's not just how
great.
Lois is. It's not.
Have you read?
It's not just how she is, because I've seen so many. Yes, I have, and not only just me. I've seen so many different people, Gary included, who has read more comics than you and me combined, say that is not how Lois usually acts. He didn't talk that much shit on her, but he said that's not how she acts.
All due respect, I don't give two fucks what Gary has to say. All due respect, I could give a shit. I fuck with the drinker, but I don't give a fuck what Gary has to say. Sorry.
Why? Why don't you like Gary?
Because he's a fucking hypocrite.
No, he's not. In what way is Nerdrotic a hypocrite?
Because he claims to care about fucking like free speech and shit like that.
He does.
And then sure. Okay. All right.
Okay, then what?
No virtuous human being would, at least in my eyes, there is no virtuous human being who would, whether you agreed with the Kimmel shit or not, or any of that shit that happened there is no virtuous human being who, because the part that didn't get talked about when Kimmel got brought back was that Disney lost $4 billion. Now,
it did. It did get talked about because we talked about it, and Nerdrotic also talked about it. Roman, you don't watch his content. Yes. Gary's not a hypocrite. He covers everything, and he covers all of his bases. Don't say nameless accusations. Gary's more of an inspiration to us. Gary should be more of an inspiration to us than most people, because he came from the fucking gutter just the same way that Eminem did. And look at him now. Dude's 8 years, almost 9 years sober. From meth and all these other fucking stuff. He started a fucking business. He's now one of the biggest YouTubers. They're about to start one of their fucking cons. He's been on Piers Morgan multiple times. He's going on news channels now. Like, he's being interviewed by people. He's got a book out. That should be an inspiration to most people. If you're talking about a hypocrite, Gary's most certainly not one. And I would suggest that you actually watch some of his content, some of his videos, because honestly, I don't mean to say it this way, but you might learn something. Because the way that he does YouTube, really fucking works. And that's what I've learned from him, Drinker, Mahler, people like that, Theory, Geeks and Gamers, like the people that are doing this as a job that are really fucking good at it. And I do want to say something that I think is really funny, that since we brought up Nerdrotic and things like that, Josh from Den of Nerds, guys, I highly recommend you go and watch Star Wars Theory stream from Monday. Josh finally fucking flipped. He finally was like, you know what? I think everybody was right. Marvel is fucked. DC is fucked. Star Wars is fucked. And he was like, I don't necessarily agree with the way that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and everybody there and like, you know, Drinker and Nerdrotic and them like talked about it. He goes, but no, they were fucking right. They were ahead of the curve. We were ahead of the fucking curve. We talked about this shit with Kenobi. We said where this was going to go day one. And look where we're at. That was before Rings of Power. We called how this shit was going to go. We knew it. Because guess what? You are losing the ambassadors, right? So when you buy a franchise, you're buying the fan base. And when you fuck up the franchise, the fan base then is no longer the ambassadors that bring people in. Because that's what we were, right? I would walk up to Corey or Roman on the street and we'd be talking, or in school, right? And I'd be like, are you guys fans of Star Wars? And they'd say, no, I'm not. And I'd go, well, I think you should watch it. And here's the reasons why. Blah, 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 blah. And then maybe we'd hang out and actually watch it. Or maybe they would go home and watch it. And then guess what? There's another Star Wars fan. And then they go and show it to somebody else. There is ambassadors, right? So like my parents were the ambassadors of Star Wars to me. And Lord of the Rings and things like that. So fan bases thrive on that. And what you're doing when you delete said fan base, when you alienate the people that created the fan base, you no longer have ambassadors, which is why Star Wars is in the gutter, which is why Marvel is in the gutter, which is why DC is in the gutter. You can argue as much as you want that you might have liked some of the projects, but the stocks don't lie. Neither does the box office. Neither do the views on Nielsen's ratings. Which is as accurate as it can be. No, hold on, let me finish. I said which is as accurate as it can be because they won't allow it. I don't want to hear your argument, Roman. You know that Marvel's losing money. You know that DC is losing money. And you know that Star Wars is losing money. I don't want to hear any argument against that. We've talked about it for years. You haven't watched any Marvel shit. Did you watch Ironheart?
First of all, this is also my show, so I'm going to say whatever that I would like to. Secondly, no, I have not.
Exactly. I don't know why you had the need to say that there. That's obviously no.
Because you told me that you don't want to hear it. But I'll say what I would like to.
Yeah, I don't want to hear you defending that they're doing well. Because you know they're not.
I mean, I don't think that they're doing well, but I'll defend the fact that I think that Superman was actually a good movie, and I think that they made him a human.
I literally said, if whether or not you like the products, it doesn't deny the fact that they're not doing well. You might enjoy it. I loved Andor, but fucking Star Wars is still in the gutter, dude. Andor didn't save them.
I also, though, don't. I'm trying also not to have a nihilistic viewpoint, though, either. Because then that means that, you know, there's no hope. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to not.
Yeah, I genuinely. Okay, did you watch Peacemaker?
I've seen most of season 2. I didn't watch the last episode. I've seen, like, most of it.
What did you think?
Did
you like all the orgies? Did you like the gay orgy scenes?
I didn't give a fuck.
Did you? Okay, you might not have given a fuck. Did you like the fact that
you see, Roland, because you see, I'm not easily offended.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not offended by that.
I don't care.
I'm not offended by that. What I am offended by is the fact